Hi everyone, I'm Josh. I'm here playing with DJ today, bringing CSM, Chaos Space Marines, bringing a list quite full of dark packs, dark deeds, some Slanesh, fun stuff. We're here to learn some 10th edition together. We're going to be practicing for Salt City GT this weekend coming up. And we're going to see what DJ has brought today with his Necrons and come over to my army first though with CSM. So this is a Chaos Space Marine list I designed for Salt City GT. This is called Mom and Dad, because I brought Shalaxi Hellbane and Abaddon the Despoiler. Both of these two are here to help me win with the Forces of Chaos. So, Abaddon the Despoiler is in the list because he provides full hit rerolls to everyone within 6 inches, or a 4-up invuln. And he has a third ability, but we don't talk about that one. And then, after the Abaddon the Despoiler, I brought a Master of Possession. Master Possession I added in after the fact of adding a unit in the list that you'll get to later called Possessed. And he leads a unit of Possessed to give them a 6-up Feel No Pain, +1 to advance and charge, and he's got a decent amount of attacks on his own. I upgraded him with the Intoxicating Elixir to give him a 5-up Feel No Pain, and when he targets a unit with his unit, whether it's shooting or fighting, he'll make them take a Battle Shock test then and there. Moving on to the Possessed, since we talked about them just a moment ago. Possessed are in the list to give me a fast-moving, advanced charge melee threat that also has devastating wounds attached to it. You're going to see a lot of that word come up in my list. I brought a lot of things that give me devastating wounds because I couldn't find enough guaranteed high-strength attacks or shooting. So I wanted to spill over into the devastating wound category like other armies have been doing. After that, I've got a Forge Fiend. He's marked with no mark, Mark of Undivided. So he is shooting lots of Gatling cannon shots and a plasma cannon shot. And that gives devastating wounds if he takes the choice of taking the hazard test on all of his weapons. But being Mark of Undivided gives him access to the stratagem to reroll all of his hits and wounds without having to be near a babysitter. So he's a long-range, targetable devastating wounds again unit. Going on from there, I've talked about the Chaos Terminators before, and in the Chaos Terminator squad is a Mark of Nurgle, so that they can attach to Abaddon and get the stratagem to, once you've targeted them, you can activate the stratagem to give you a -1 to hit a Nurgle unit, and then after that, unless you're within 12 inches, you can't target the unit. So keep Abaddon a little bit safe if he's a little further away and they've set up a tri-point or more to try to take that unit down. After the Terminators, we've got 2 units of Obliterators, actually. These are 2-man units, minimum you can take in this edition. They're both marked with Tzeentch because they bring heavy artillery that will auto-wound on 5s when they take the Dark Pact. And in addition to that, the stratagem for Tzeentch, because there's a stratagem for each of the gods that add a little extra if you have the mark, is heal 3 wounds and revive a model if they're Tzeentch. So if you don't finish off the 2-man unit of Obliterators, they've got another one coming back for a command point next turn. I've got 2 units of Chaos Raptors in the list. They're Mark of Khorne, and they're just toting 3 plasma pistols. The reason I marked them Khorne is they have a bunch of chainswords, and with those chainswords, they're not giving you a lot of strength, but they're giving you a lot of attacks. So Mark of Khorne will let you, when you take a Dark Pact, auto wound on 5s to hit in melee. Last but not least, in the CSM list is a Venom Crawler on the CSM faction. Venom Crawler with Mark of Tzeentch, so his guns will auto wound on 5s when he takes a Pact. The Venom Crawler is kind of a cool ability because it is only 140 points, 12-inch move, and when it kills a unit, it then gains +1 attack to all of its weapons for the rest of the game. That'll include both of its chain cannons and its melee attacks. So that can start adding up quickly for clearing out hordes. That's only 1,500 points of my list. 1,520 points of my list. I apologize. 475 points of my list are tied up in Chaos Demons. This is where the Mom and Dad comes into play. Shalaxi Hellbane. She's a creature of the demon's named character and a Slanesh monster with 20 wounds, the ability to reroll hits, wounds, damage, and charges in melee against character, monster, or vehicle units. And built-in 5-up Feel No Pain will protect her from some of the most powerful weapons in the game. Along with the Changeling. He's a sneaky little guy. He's a named character that has Lone Operative, and then once you get into that 12-inch range of Lone Operative, he has 2 abilities that can protect himself one more time. The first of those abilities, he picks a unit within 12 in their shooting phase, and on a 6 to hit, they just can't, on a 6 on that D6 roll, they just cannot shoot that phase with that unit. And his second ability he has to protect himself, this works in both shooting and melee, is when you target him with an attack from a unit, they must take a battle shock test. If they fail that battle shock test, they can't target him this phase. And to round it all up, I must have missed it, but you guys must have been wondering what Dark Pacts are. Dark Pacts are whenever a CSM unit activates for shooting or fighting, they are allowed to choose to take a Dark Pact. If they take the Dark Pact, they can pick one of 2 associated abilities. Sustained hits 1, or lethal hits. And I've brought that up a bunch because the list ties in with when they roll a critical hit is when those abilities would happen. So Abaddon giving full rerolls to the entire list will hopefully proc that a little bit more. And if you fail the Dark Pact, you still gain the benefits of the Dark Pact, but there is a leadership test involved. If you fail that leadership test, you will take D3 mortal wounds because the Dark Gods don't give their gifts for free. So that was my Chaos Space Marines list, and I am looking forward to testing it for Salt City GT coming up this weekend. Let's see what DJ has brought with this crazy concoction, and let's see if we can really feel it in the air.